All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our council meeting, our regular council meeting of September 29th, 2025. It's our last council meeting of this particular mandate. So if I could have somebody propose opening of the meeting, please.
Oui, Monsieur le maire, je propose d'ouvrir la séance.
Merci, la conseillère Torres. Je peux voir l'appui, s'il vous plaît.
Oui, je l'appuie.
Merci, la conseillère Fini. Tout en faveur, s'il vous plaît?
Oui.
Merci. Adoption de l'ordre du jour, s'il vous plaît.
Oui, je propose d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la séance ordinaire du lundi 29 septembre 2025, modifié comme suit, en ajoutant le point suivant 11E, amendement à la résolution numéro 2025-09-11-003.
Merci, la conseillère Fini. Je peux voir l'appui, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, je l'appuie, Monsieur le maire.
Merci, la conseillère Small Pennefather. Tout en faveur, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
Merci. Approbation des procès verbaux.
Je propose d'approuver le procès verbal des séances de conseil tenues aux dates suivantes. Séance spéciale de 25 août 2025. Désolé, ça a fermé. Séance spéciale de 25 août 2025. Séance ordinaire de 25 août 2025. Séance spéciale de 11 septembre 2025.
Merci, la conseillère Small Pennefather. Je peux avoir l'appui, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, je l'appuie.
Merci, la conseillère Yolande. Tout en faveur, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
Parfait. On va passer tout de suite à le rapport du maire. We're going right on to report of the mayor, please. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir à tous. We're at the final meeting of this mandate. I can't describe these past 4 years as anything other than rock and roll. We've had a referendum on the new sports and recreation center for our town. It's in its final stages of construction. We've negotiated and ratified new contracts for our blue-collar and our white-collar employees. We are tackling our ongoing traffic issue on Westminster. We have spurred residential development in our town with the project on Westminster Avon and the project at Westminster Milner. We have spurred commercial and industrial redevelopment in our town with the project on the Montreal-Toronto Boulevard. We have faced down the threats to our bilingual status and stood up in parliamentary commissions studying that question. A first for me as the president of the ASM. A busy 4 years by any measure. Nous sommes à la dernière réunion de ce mandat. Je ne peux décrire ces 4 dernières années autrement que comme une véritable aventure. Nous avons organisé un référendum sur le nouveau centre sportif et récréatif, une première pour notre ville. La construction est maintenant en phase finale. Nous venons de négocier et ratifier de nouveaux contrats pour nos employés col bleu et col blanc. Nous sommes en train de régler le problème de circulation qui persiste sur Westminster. Nous avons stimulé le développement résidentiel dans notre ville grâce au projet sur Westminster Avon et au projet sur Westminster Milner. Nous avons stimulé le réaménagement commercial industriel dans notre ville grâce au projet sur le boulevard Montréal-Toronto. Nous avons fait face aux menaces qui pesaient sur notre statut bilingue et nous nous sommes exprimés devant les commissions parlementaires chargées d'étudier la question. Une première pour moi en tant que président de l'AMB. 4 ans bien remplis à tout égard. I would be remiss if I did not highlight the contributions of my councillors. I am blessed to have worked with 4 amazing councillors this past mandate. I don't believe I've seen such a level of devotion as demonstrated by these individuals. Colleen, Elizabeth, Maria, and Lauren. Thank you so much for your contributions to the betterment of our community. Je manquerais à mon devoir si je ne soulignais pas la contribution de mes conseillères. J'ai eu la chance de travailler avec 4 conseillères extraordinaires au cours du dernier mandat. Je ne pense pas avoir jamais vu un tel dévouement que celui dont ont fait preuve ces 4 personnes, Colleen, Elizabeth, Maria et Lauren. Merci beaucoup pour votre contribution à l'amélioration de notre communauté. 3 of our councillors have decided they won't seek re-election. Among them, they have decades of experience supporting and bettering our town. To Colleen, Elizabeth, and Maria, thank you so much for your many years of service. The town would not be in the great shape it's in without your contributions. At the very least, I know that you've made my job so much easier because I had your support. Enjoy the well-deserved time off, but let's be honest, I'm sure you'll continue contributing to the town. With much respect and gratitude. 3 de nos conseillères ont décidé de ne pas se représenter aux élections. À L3, elles cumulent plusieurs décennies d'expérience au service de notre ville, qu'elles ont contribué à améliorer. Colleen, Elizabeth et Maria, merci infiniment pour toutes ces années de service. Sans votre contribution, la ville ne sera pas dans la situation florissante où elle se retrouve aujourd'hui. Je sais au moins que vous m'avez grandement facilité la tâche grâce à votre soutien. Profitez bien de ce repos bien mérité, mais soyons honnêtes, je suis sûr que vous continuerez à contribuer à la vie de la ville. Avec tout mon respect et gratitude. As John Donne wrote, no man is an island. And I've had the unwavering support of my dear wife, Janet. Excuse me. She never complained about the hours, never complained about the time away from the house, never complained about anything. Instead, she was the solid counsel whispered in my ears, the encouragement when things were particularly trying. Excuse me. Thank you infinitely, Janet. You are amazing. Pour paraphraser John Donne, nul homme n'est une île entière en elle-même. Et j'ai bénéficié du soutien inconditionnel de ma chère épouse Janet. Elle ne s'est jamais plainte des horaires, ni du temps passé loin de la maison, ni de quoi que ce soit d'autre. Au contraire, elle m'a toujours prodigé des précieux conseils et m'a encouragé dans les moments particulièrement difficiles. Merci infiniment, Janet. On a personal note, I've decided to run again in the upcoming election, as evidenced by my ugly mug plastered around town. My goal is to provide the leadership the new councillors will require. There's so much coming up for this town, and I feel I need to be there to ensure that they have the tools and guidance needed to be effective from day one. Sur le plan personnel, j'ai décidé de me présenter à nouveau aux prochaines élections, comme on témoigne avec ma tête affreuse placardée partout dans la ville. Mon objectif est d'apporter le leadership dont les nouveaux conseillers auront besoin. Il y a tant de choses à faire pour cette ville et je pense que je dois être là pour m'assurer qu'ils déposent les outils et conseils nécessaires pour être efficaces dès le premier jour. If the cards don't allow me to be there on November 3rd, let me state emphatically that these 18 years serving you have been the most rewarding professional years of my life. Thank you for letting me lead our town. Thank you, and please look after each other. Merci et prends soin de l'un et des autres. Thank you very much. And now we're going to move on to councilors' reports, starting with seat number 2. Elizabeth Yulin reporting on matters pertaining to public works, communication, and the environment.
Thank you very much. So this is my last council report in 20 years. It'll have all the regular stuff in it, but I probably should say, like the mayor, this particular position has been the honor of my life, so I appreciate your support for all of these years, and as he said in his report, I'm sure I'll still be around doing volunteer work for the town because I couldn't give that up. Anyway, we'll move on to the regular report, and that is Public Works was quite busy this month. Besides the usual work of cleaning the parks and the green spaces and street sweeping, our teams were out asphalting working on urgent road infrastructure issues. Currently, there are more than 40 road interventions in the queue, and the majority of these problems are on the road segments that are targeted to be replaced in the coming years. Issues range from collapsed catch basins to broken water lines and valves to crumbling sewers. So while the town has already invested over $45 million in the last 15 years on our infrastructure, it's clear there's still a lot more to do. And these interventions will have to be addressed during the budget process and over the next 5 to 10 years. In the interim, our teams have been repairing the hyper-urgent cases and will continue that process as long as weather permits. Public Works is also in the process of ensuring its fleet is ready for winter, more specifically key pieces of equipment such as the salt trucks and the sidewalk tractors. Over the month of September, the Environment Department has been engaged on several fronts, completing the inventory and coordinating the removal of all tree stumps across the town, planning a global inspection of the urban forest, and updating a list of priority tree maintenance to be done before winter. The department has also been creating an awareness campaign on organic waste collection for local businesses. The Environmental Action Committee, or EAC, met this month for the last time in this mandate. A bit of a sort of bittersweet occasion for me. It's been a really delightful committee to work with, and I'm honored to have worked with such dedicated citizens. They met this month for the last time, but there are still several projects in the pipeline, including the wrap-up of the Indigenous Garden Contest, the annual clothing swap on Sunday, October 19th, here in the Town Hall, and 2 information sessions, one on heat pumps and another on the advances in solar power for home use. Details of these sessions will be advertised in the e-bulletin and on the website once they're available. Pendant le dernier mois, le service de communication a préparé plusieurs annonces importantes, notamment sur les élections municipales, des nouvelles municipales, les activités des loisirs et des infotravaux. Les services de urbanisme et la communication travaillent à clarifier la procédure de demande des permis. That's it for me, and I'd be very happy to answer any questions you have during question period, and I'll see you around town. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Yulin. Reporting from seat number 3 on matters pertaining to finance, recreation, and topics related to the status of an age-friendly municipality, Councillor Colleen Feeney.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, bonsoir tout le monde. I'll start right into the business part of it, and I'll start with the finance. And on to business. The deadline for reading your water meters was September the 26th. If you haven't yet sent in your reading, please do so ASAP in order to avoid the $50 estimate fee. Invoices will be sent out on October the 21st with a payment due date of November the 20th. Le département des finances travaille sur les prévisions 2025 et le budget 2026. Et l'hôtel de ville sera fermé le lundi 13 octobre pour le jour de l'Action de grâce. More on the finance now. Actually, I have some excellent news to share, and that is that Montréal-Ouest made an agreement as of September 2025 with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and the Ministry of Finance for the government for Quebec has approved the terms of our loan for the recreation center. The details of that are such. The loan is in the amount of $12,219,730. It is will have a financing term of 20 years, and then the terms will be reviewed again with an total amortization of 40 years. It will be issued at par and will bear interest at an annual rate of 4.25%. But because of the $2 million grant that we are getting from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, it actually has an internal rate of return of 2.99%, taking this into account. The loan will mature on September 26, 2045. And it was made pursuant to a borrowing bylaw that was passed in the town just around the referendum time. So this excellent news should be excellent news for you to digest as residents. When we were reviewing the potential costs for the recreation center, we had been estimating a loan maybe in the terms of about $17 million, and we were looking at an interest rate of 3%. So here we have a smaller amount at a better rate once we take the internal rate of return. So I want to thank our Director General and our Treasurer for working very hard, and the Mayor actually for working very hard with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It's quite unusual to secure a loan like this and then to go through and have it approved by the Quebec government. So I think we are very fortunate indeed. So that's about one of the best news I can end my financing reports on. But I'm not through yet, so that's great news. That later in the meeting, you'll also hear that we are going to pass disbursements of $1,397,229 for this past month, and I always like to give you, the taxpayer, an idea of where your money went that month. The main expenditures included $806,000 for the new recreation center, the majority of which went to Sajo. $327,000 for benefits and deductions at source, $31,000 for infrastructure work, including the Westminster Hump Bridge and a new solar street light, which is the one that we do see on Westminster and Ainslie. $32,000 for various contracts, including water infrastructure, electrical, lighting, etc. $29,000 for a parking study, $27,000 for vehicles, be it maintenance, repairs, and rentals, and the old $22,000 for garbage recycling and compost. That's the finance part. I'll move on to recreation now. The recreation department blue-collar staff completed its post-summer season cleanup and reorganization in support of all our summer programming. Preparations in the town hall, curling club, chalet, and community center were completed for the arrival of our fall programming, which has had great participation from residents in all the types of programming. Pickleball times are now live on Amelia and are offered 3 times a week out of the Royal West Academy Gymnasium. Our biennial pop event took place on September the 21st with over 40 merchant groups participating, and it was a beautiful day to go alongside that. Entertainment was provided by the wonderful Shawnee and Diogo Ramos. Also, don't miss upcoming our spectacular double-header event on October the 24th for Halloween, starting at 5:30 in Davies Park with tons of Halloween games, slime, and music, followed by a presentation of Hocus Pocus at the Town Hall at 7:15 p.m. And full details for this are on the website. A few other upcoming events at the Community Centre. October 5th, Red Cross Babysitting Course. October 17th, the ever-popular Parents' Night Out. October the 6th, this one will actually be at the Town Hall. It'll be a free screening of the movie Amazonia, which is an encounter with a rainforest guardian. It's going to be held at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall, and it'll be followed by a discussion. And although this seems far in advance, since the next public council meeting is November 10th, I wanted to remind everyone of all the wonderful events that we have to celebrate Remembrance Day here in Montreal-West. And one of them is going to be held on Saturday, November 8th at 1 p.m., and that's the Walk to Remember with Dr. Robert Drummond. And the other one that's very important, of course, is Sunday, November 9th at 12:15 p.m., and that is a remembrance ceremony at the Montreal-West Cenotaph. La cérémonie de souvenir aura lieu au Cenotaph le dimanche 9 novembre à 12h15. That's for that. So now I will move on to seniors. Very, very busy. October 1st is National Seniors Day. We will be honoring that day and our seniors with a lunch followed by a lecture entitled Preparing for a Long Walk, given by a senior who would like to share her experiences with undertaking the El Camino de Santiago walks. Also walking groups, we have 2 more coming up, one on October 7th, which is a walk to the La Falaise, and November 11th, a visit and tour of the National Field of Honor in Pointe-Claire. For our 60-plus club, there will be an Oktoberfest lunch on October the 17th at 12 p.m., featuring hearty German classics. And on November the 4th, I hope I've got this pronunciation right, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Please come and enjoy lunch and learn about this Mexican tradition. Please sign up for all these events on Amelia or by calling the community center. And very important, Caring Neighborhood Day, which is when we have the Loyola students come and do yard work for our seniors and disabled people in the community. That will be happening on Saturday, October the 25th. Seniors who would like help, seniors or anybody disabled who would like help, or anybody who wants to volunteer to help out. And that doesn't mean doing the gardening chores yourselves. That means basically maybe walking teams of Loyola students back and forth to the various seniors' homes. Please sign up by October the 15th to have this help done, and call the community center with that. So then I guess I will also say my goodbyes too. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you, first of all, to the residents for your faith and your trust in me for these past 16 years. I can guarantee that I have worked hard to try to bring about all these wonderful things in our great little community. And I truly appreciate your support and your giving me your trust. I also want to say it's been a fantastic honor to work with our current town administration. They honestly, they make my work easy in so many ways by the background work that they do and how hard they work. They're very, very dedicated. It's a small but very dedicated group in all the sectors, from the administration, public works, public security, recreation department, and urban planning. So I've worked with each one of you at various times. That's all been all part of my portfolio over the past 16 years, so thank you. And finally, to my fellow councillors and mayor, also, it's been wonderful working with you. It's great. I'm always amazed that even though we have differing opinions, and we actually do behind closed doors, we're always treated with respect, and we've always managed to get along and try to come to the best decisions for this town. And I thank our mayor, Benny, for leading us in that direction, because that's what a good leader does. So thank you very much. And like Liz, you'll see me around, and maybe I'll be on the seniors committee. We've really made great strides there, and hopefully we're going to continue doing even more. So thank you so much. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Councillor Feeney. For reporting from seat number 4 on matters pertaining to urban planning, Councillor Maria Torres, please.
Merci. Bonsoir. Ce soir, j'ai 3 choses importantes à vous annoncer. Premièrement, la prochaine réunion du comité consultatif d'urbanisme est prévue le 29 octobre. Deuxièmement, je tiens à vous rappeler une dernière fois de vous assurer d'avoir votre permis. Get your permits. Il n'y a qu'une excuse. Veuillez vous occuper. Enfin, je tiens à exprimer ma gratitude à tous les habitants de cette magnifique ville de m'avoir permis de vous représenter au sein de ce conseil. Thank you to all my fellow councillors and our mayor. It has been a privilege to serve alongside you. I also want to extend my thanks to our incredible staff. It is because of your hard work that, despite our limitations, this town operates so smoothly. One thing that a lot of people do not realize in this town is that we do not have a large staff. A lot of our departments are quite small compared with other towns. For example, the urban planning department, when you compare it with other towns such as Hampstead or Bay Durfee, they have 4 or 5 people on staff. We have 1.5. That means that the people that we have run in this town are super efficient. They do their work fantastically. They really cover the space of many people. But the other thing is, us councillors do a lot of work ourselves, and then we have the other group that I want to express my gratitude, and it's to all the volunteers in this town. We have multiple committees in this town, all volunteers. We have people volunteering for every single activity in this town, and it is because of this that the town is so successful. They consistently contribute to various committees and activities. I even appreciate the people who brings a lot of issues to our attention, even the ones who complain a little bit. It means that we have some problems to solve, and I'm very grateful for that. As I wrap up, before I get too emotional, I want to say farewell and good luck to you all of you who are throwing your hats in the ring. I look forward to seeing you all around town. Merci et bonne nuit à tous.
Thank you very much, Councillor Torres. Reporting from seat number 1 on matters pertaining to public security, Councillor Lauren Small-Pennefather.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start off my report tonight as well, right into business. The town DG, first of all, thank you everybody for being here this evening for our final council meeting as our current configuration. The town DG organized a training session on federal standards relating to the roles and responsibilities of the Road Authority for level crossings. The training was provided by Transport Canada and took place on September 4th. There were more than 20 participants from several towns in the area and the service incendie de Montréal. La directrice générale de la ville a organisé une séance de formation sur les normes fédérales relatives au rôle et responsabilités de l'autorité routière en matière de passage à niveau. La formation a été dispensée par Transport Canada et a eu lieu le 4 septembre, plus d'une vingtaine de participants provenant de plusieurs villes de la région et le service d'incendie de Montréal y ont assisté. As for implementing the level crossing reconfiguration recommendations from WSP, the town issued 2 proposals. The first was a public call for tenders to cast a wide net as possible and increase our chances, but it was unsuccessful. The second was a more targeted at those who had confirmed their interest, but only 1 bid was received and outside of the threshold of the 4 invitations. Due to the upcoming election, we don't have another séance where we can move forward with an additional call for tenders. Most likely the next call for tender, of course, the work cannot take place during the winter. The next call for tender most likely will be going out in the spring or in the winter so that we're ready for the spring. We are currently carrying out asphalt repairs around the level crossing and have installed a no pedestrian sign on the section of the pedestrian crossing that has been removed. We continue to work with CPKC and EXO following a site visit at my invitation to block off the former pedestrian crossing while we wait for the reconfiguration work to be completed. Nous effectuons actuellement des réparations de l'asphalte autour du passage à niveau et nous avons installé un panneau interdit aux piétons sur la section de passage piéton qui a été supprimé. Nous continuons à travailler avec CPKC et EXO à la suite d'une visite de site à mon invitation afin de bloquer l'ancien passage piéton en attendant les fins de travaux de reconfiguration. The PSOs were consistently monitoring the safety around the Hump Bridge project, verifying the detour routes, ensuring that all the temporary signage remained in place, and reporting any deficiencies immediately to Public Works. As you know, the work is now completed on the Hump Bridge between Northview and the north side of the hump. We followed up on some nuisance files where the property owners respected the allotted delays and cleaned up on their properties. Public security continually verified for public domain occupancy permits whenever we see a contractor occupying the public domain, and we only found 1 occurrence of work being done without a permit this month. 1 property owner will be issued fines after not respecting a cease work order for construction without permits. Public security has continued with an increased presence in our municipal parks since the beginning of the season, and especially at night, to help discourage illegal activities such as the consumption of drugs and alcohol. On September the 14th, Public Security assisted the SPVM to help detour traffic due to a very tragic fire again in Notre-Dame-de-Grâce. The commandant sent a letter of thanks to recognize our public security officers. Throughout this month as well, the PSOs have been on the outlook for an individual going door-to-door falsely collecting donations for the Terry Fox Foundation. La SP a commencé à planifier le train des fêtes de cette année et rencontrera la SPVM, la police de CPKC et EXO afin d'organiser les détails relatifs à la sécurité. La CSP a continué d'accroître sa présence à nos parcs municipaux depuis le début de la saison, en particulier la nuit, afin de décourager les activités illégales telles que la consommation des drogues et l'alcool. Our crime stats for PDQ 9, as you know, we continue to be compiled with Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, Hampstead, Côte-Saint-Luc, and Montréal-Ouest, but its crime rates have actually slightly gone down in comparison to the same trimester in 2024, and the Highway Safety Code infraction has increased, which means that we have more presence of the SPVM that are giving out more tickets in the area, which is good because of poor comportment by drivers. I guess of interest as well, I think some residents may have observed this. While on patrol around 8:30 on September 11th, we were alerted to an illegally parked car that was causing some traffic issues at the intersection of Strathern and Nelson. Public security approached the vehicle. There was an occupant in the vehicle that appeared to be sleeping. The individual refused to move their car. We then had to get the SPVM to intervene, which is why you may have seen the SPVM and several units that arrived despite numerous pleas for the individual to cooperate. The SPVM did have to make an arrest, but there was no danger to the public. I did make a reference to Terry Fox earlier with regards to a door-to-door scam. So the way that you can assist yourself when somebody knocks on your door, they should be carrying some kind of permit. Of course, that's a bylaw where they have to be able to go door to door soliciting, and of course, always make a check or do a donation online that's always made out to a foundation, not to an individual. You do not have to open your door, and of course, you always have the flexibility to say no. You may have noticed an orange flag displayed outside of the town hall. Tomorrow is the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, which honors the children who have never returned home, the survivors of residential schools and their families. If you want to learn more about what you can do as a point of reflection, you can take part in awareness activities, including live discussions, commemorative events, educational webinars. The Montreal-Ouest Public Library also has some excellent books that you can reference. Vous avez peut-être remarqué un drapeau orange accroché à l'extérieur de l'hôtel de ville. Demain, la Journée nationale de la vérité et la réconciliation rendra hommage aux enfants qui ne sont jamais rentrés chez eux, aux survivants des passionnants indiens et leurs familles. Si vous souhaitez en savoir plus sur ce que vous pouvez faire pour réfléchir à cette question, vous pouvez participer à des activités de sensibilisation, notamment des discussions en direct, des événements commémoratifs et des webinaires exécutifs. La Bibliothèque publique de Montréal-Ouest dispose également d'excellents ouvrages que vous pouvez consulter. This concludes my final report for this mandate. It's hard to express how the last 4 years have become such an integral part of who I am. I would like to thank my family for their unwavering support, in particular my husband Jeff, who's sitting at the back of the room right now, who often has to wear all of the hats so that I can wear all of the hats. So thank you, Jeff, for always being there. I would like to thank, of course, Benny, Colleen, Maria, and Liz, who welcomed me to the table, the public security team under the leadership of Lieutenant Georgiou, the Community Safety Committee of volunteers, including the SPVM, our community partners, Royal West Academy, Edinburgh, Elizabeth Valentine, our amazing town staff under the leadership of Maître Distasio, Elizabeth, who supports our online meetings and communications, Claude Joubert, our town clerk, who prepares our motions, public works, urban planning, culture and recreation, finance, and of course, our citizens who place their trust in me. Merci de votre intérêt, de votre engagement à faire de Montréal-Ouest une communauté de premier plan. Cela dit, je confirme mon intention de me présenter à la réélection au siège numéro 1. Bonne chance à tous les candidats et à tous ceux qui célèbrent une Shana Tova heureuse et une bonne santé pour le nouvel an juif. Thank you for your interest and engagement in striving to make Montreal-West a top-tier community. With this said, I am confirming that it is my intention to run for re-election in seat number 1. Best of luck to all the candidates and to always celebrate a healthy and happy Shana Tova for the Jewish New Year. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pennefather. We're going to move right to question period. First question period, we answer questions from the floor for a maximum of 25 minutes. We limit it to 2 questions per person, a short preamble, your first question, and a follow-up question if you want. And it's a question period, it's not a debate period. I'm not here to debate at this period. After the questions from the floor, we answer questions from the residents that have been submitted online until 2 p.m. today on any topic. Same rule applies, 25 minutes total, 2 questions per person maximum. In the second question period, we take questions pertaining only to the agenda submitted via our website during this meeting. We limit it to 10 minutes from the floor and 10 minutes online. Lors de notre première période de questions, nous répondrons aux questions de la salle pendant un maximum de 25 minutes. Nous le limiterons à 2 questions par personne, un court préambule, votre première question et une question de suivi si vous le souhaitez. Et je vous rappelle que c'est une période de questions et non une période de débat. Après les questions de la salle, nous répondrons aux questions des résidents qui avaient été soumises en ligne jusqu'à 14 heures aujourd'hui sur n'importe quel sujet. Les mêmes règles s'appliquent. 25 minutes au total, 2 questions par personne maximale. Lors de la deuxième période de questions, nous répondrons aux questions relatives à l'ordre du jour soumises via notre site web lors de cette réunion. Nous le limiterons à 10 minutes depuis la salle et 10 minutes pour le online. Alors, si vous avez une question, je vous demande de vous présenter au microphone, donner votre nom et votre adresse et demander votre question. If you have a question, I'm going to ask you to step up to the mic, give your name and address, and go ahead and ask your question, please.
Good evening. Good evening. First of all, I'm here for 2 things. First of all, I wanted to, name is Ken Saldana, 453 Ballantyne Avenue North. I wanted to thank the team for your service over the 4 years and your, everything that you've done for the town over this period. And especially I want to thank councillors Maria, councillors Elizabeth, and councillor Colleen for all these years that you have given yourself to helping this town, and for everything that you've contributed as well, and including, of course, Councillor Lorraine and Mr. Mayor. The second thing, I also wanted to, I'm here just to say thank you, because at the last meeting, I expressed a concern about the significant issue we had to face over the last 20 years with the linden tree on our front lawn. Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for acknowledging that, giving me a call, and also making some time to meet with me to find a solution. Again, thank you for doing that, and I look forward to hopefully a permanent solution. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saldana, and I want to be perfectly clear. I called Mr. Saldana today, and I took responsibility that I forgot to call him last time. When I got into the room today, I saw that I hadn't followed up, and I wanted to be perfectly clear. And so I'm meeting with Mr. Saldana on Friday at his house. Thank you very much, sir. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, Joanna Dewey, 232 Percival. So I'd like to also thank everyone on council for your time and your service to the community. I know I'm here asking a lot of questions at every town council meeting, but I recognize it's not an easy job, and I do appreciate the work that you do. Thank you in particular to the outgoing councillors, Councillor Yulin and Feeney, and Councillor Torres. Thank you very much. So I was really happy to see the no pedestrian sign on the east side of the crossing. That was like a long time coming, and I was super happy to see that up there. I noticed it this weekend. I'm also really interested to hear that there was a training session on the level crossing. Is there anything that can be shared from that presentation with any citizens, like any slides or a video recording, or because I know there's a lot of legislation there, there's a lot going on and a lot of complexity.
So, Councillor Small-Pennefather, you want to take the question?
Yeah, sure. My microphone will behave. There we go. Okay, thank you for your question, Joanna. So, Transport Canada gave the formation to a number of towns and cities. So we can go back to Transport Canada because it's their presentation and ask them if it's something that they can share.
Okay.
But we will follow up with them, Joanna, and I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, great, thank you. And you mentioned, Lauren, in your report about EXO blocking that east side more permanently for pedestrians. Can I just clarify, like, will that be done as part of all the other pilot work, or are they on their own timeline?
Which part do you mean, Joanna?
Like
Sorry?
So there had been at some point talk of EXO putting in like boulders to try to prevent people from crossing.
Yes.
On the east side.
Correct. Yes.
Is that on a totally separate timeline from everything else that the town is doing for the pilot project?
So, as you know, that's part of the ongoing discussions, and it's not just EXO, it's also with CPKC, which makes it more complicated because there's several enjeux going on in several players there. But yes, they're collaborating with the town so that we can find a more permanent solution to having that closed off, so you can't, go past the, where it says no pedestrians can walk.
Yeah.
So we are looking at a longer term solution with them until, or something temporary until something more permanent could be put in place. But the idea potentially is to maybe extend the fencing that where on Broughton and Sherbrooke potentially, so you won't be able to have any pedestrians that are able to cross on that section of the east section of that portion between Broughton and Sherbrooke.
Okay, so that's on their timeline essentially. Is that
They're working with the town, and it's identified as a priority, Joanna, because of the safety concerns there. So yes, we continue to work with them, and I mean, obviously it'll overlap into the next mandate, but yes, it's definitely something that's been prioritized. And just this week, our DG has met with them to try to push that as far as we can. in terms of having something more permanent, a more permanent solution there.
Okay,
And
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
temporarily, Joanna, and just want to add,
Sure.
temporarily, we're going to put in some, I think some jerseys, ugly jerseys,
Okay,
but at least it'll stop until EXO and CPKC, as Lauren said, they figure out what they want to do more permanently.
okay.
We may just put something as ugly as a jersey, but to prevent people from walking
Okay,
there.
so that's something you guys can do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been discussing with them.
Okay,
I don't think they're going to slap us on the knuckles for that.
okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's right. It's so as we're waiting up for the next things. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Alana Simmerman, 4690 Trenham, not Montreal-West. Here's a Royal West parent wondering if we have any updates on the Ainsley-Westminster crossing.
Sure. So we did add some, aside from the stop signs that were included, the light up stop signs, we also put a new crosswalk sign on Ainsley going from the south side, on the south side to the north side. We also put in a new lamp there as well so that there's better lighting. And because of the new reconfiguration that is going on in that section, which is related to the recommendations that came from WSP, we are still looking how we might be able to enhance that small portion of crosswalk that goes across from Ainsley on the west side of the two signs that we potentially pointing between the two. We just have to make sure that there isn't a, I'd say, visual distraction, because you have flashing stop signs and you potentially might have a flashing crosswalk sign, that there isn't any issue there. So that my correspondence that went back to the PPO at Royal West was that barring any concerns, so that's currently being evaluated, and just making sure that there's no issue there, and we'll hopefully coordinate that, because we may have to also have some lane reduction, so we just want to make sure that's all coordinated appropriately.
I was just wondering, in all these recommendations, did they ever recommend that they push back the stop signs a bit so that the drivers that are coming towards the crosswalk actually have like a view on the whole crosswalk? Because right now, it seems that the blind spot seems to be you're with the kids, and so it's hard to sort of see who's coming, and if you're further back, you can see them more clearly. Because I've looked at a few plans in other places and countries.
So the
Yeah.
stop signs are a challenge because of the train tracks, for sure. So they have to be legally they have to be a certain distance from train tracks. So with the reconfiguration, there may be some changes, but all that has to be, it's a holistic view that we have to take there. And I understand what you're saying about the blind spots, but we feel that some of the configuration changes that are coming to the town with regards to the level crossing will also have net positive effects to the other streets, including Ainsley.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much, ma'am. Mr. D'Alessio?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councils. I just,
Mr. D'Alessio, can you state your name and your address for the file, please?
yes,
Thank you.
my name is Cam D'Alessio, and I live on 464 Ballantine North. And my reason being here, I just handed over a petition to Mayor. I've been complaining about the traffic on Westover, coming from Coatzanuck to Sunnybrook, down to Westover, down to Westminster. There's a flow about over 1,000 cars a day, but I don't mind so much the traffic, but what I do mind is the speed of these cars are going. And I've been complaining for the last 3 years. I don't know whether if I've been given a runaround or if there's something behind my knowledge. I've asked it to put a speed limit sign, which was very simple to do, and also a stop sign, which is not that hard to do, or a speed bump. But nothing has been done so far. I don't know why. If someone can give me an explanation, the reason why hasn't been done for the last 3 years.
Councillor Swampin-Father?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. D'Alessio, for coming this evening. I know we've had a few exchanges over the last few years. If I look into my email here, I have about 25 emails back and forth with Côte St. Luc. As you know, they were supposed to take it to their traffic and safety committee because the stop sign, as you know, is not on the Montreal-West side. With regards to the speed limit sign that we've discussed, that has gone on the list that came from the recommendation from the Community Safety Committee. So that has gone on the list as a priority that has to be installed by Public Works. So I can get an update as to where that is right now. And you know that I believe when we last spoke, Côte St. Luc actually had put up a new crosswalk at the Cranbrook, I think, crossing. So that was supposed to help alleviate some of the issues that we had discussed. But unfortunately, over the course of the last couple of months, I did not get a response back from Côte St. Luc. But again, I will follow up to see where they are with regards to putting in the speed limit, the stop sign, and we'll get an update for you with regards to where the speed limit sign is for if we can put that up on the Montreal-West side.
Can we just put a speed sign and also a stop sign meanwhile, on our side at least? That's easy to do. There's also a pole already there. All you got to do is just screw the sign on the pole.
So after this meeting, Mr. Alessio, I'll see what it is we can do. We have to look at the area to see exactly where it is to be able to put in a stop sign, which is not regulated by the municipal, but it's regulated by provincial. There has to be certain thresholds that are met for us to be able to put that sign in, Mr. D'Alessio.
Thank you very much, Mr. D'Alessio.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. D'Amico.
Giovanni D'Amico, 90 Roxton Crescent. Before I get into my issue, I'd like to say thank you to all the councillors and the mayor. I've had the pleasure of working with you, which was an honor when I did work with you. You are of the utmost, and I thank you for doing all you've done. You guys show class and respect when you answer to people, and sometimes it's tough, and I really appreciate what you guys have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
My issue is one of about a tree. In front of my home, a tree was taken down by Hydro, and then the tree company that was called from Montreal-West. The tree was taken down, and there was a stump left on my lawn. And being as that I never was able to donate to the building of the rink to help that out, which I was for, I said I'd take it upon myself to grind the stump and put a tree for the town. I did that thinking that was an honorable thing to do for the town and for, you know, the environment. I was a little taken back when I got an email from the Environment Department saying that I would have to remove my tree to test the soil that's underneath the ground. This puzzled me a little because I said, why would they want to take out a healthy tree to test the soil? All I did was grind the stump and plant the tree. The tree is very healthy. It's not a species that they said they would give me. It's a Japanese maple, which is a very beautiful tree. It doesn't grow too high. It's underneath hydro lines, which hydro now is trying to stop people from planting trees that grow and cause a problem. If you see these ugly big V's that are in the trees nowadays, that's what hydro does to the trees that grow through the lines. I will tell you that I do have experience planting trees. I've put good soil under the tree. I'm pretty sure the tree will be healthy and grow to help beautify Montreal-West. I just would like to know, first of all, I was asked to uproot the tree so they can come and test the soil the 26th of September. I knew with my experience that uprooting a tree at that time of the year is a detriment to that tree. You're supposed to wait until the leaves fall off a tree to uproot a tree and transplant it. We wrote back to the Environment Department, they agreed, and now they want me to uproot it on the 26th of October. I'm asking you here, is this where we want to put our energy? To to uprooting a tree that is trying to help the betterment of Montreal-West. And I will tell you that I've planted hundreds of trees in my experience. So what I'd like to know is where we stand on.
Councillor Yulin, can you take the
Sure.
question?
Well, thanks very much for your question. So I'm just hearing about this now, so I
Okay.
don't have the background on it, and I'll certainly get that background, and I can contact you again,
Okay.
or have somebody in the department contact you to clarify some of this. I do know that you're not allowed to plant basically street trees on the public domain, and Japanese maples. I mean, I'm just sort of flagging a couple things here. Japanese maples are not trees that we would ever plant in the public domain because they only really get as high as,
Well,
they might get 5 feet tall, and we tend to want street trees along our streets that will provide a canopy as opposed to small ornamental trees. But that's, I guess the more puzzling issue is the business about testing the soil. I don't understand that at all, and so that's why it's a puzzle to me. I can tell you definitively that we would have told anybody who planted a tree on the public domain that was not a tree that we would normally have planted, because then, of course, the town's responsible for maintaining that tree in perpetuity, right? So if you plant a tree that's problematic or isn't going to get any kind of size or isn't something that we would normally plant, but yet then the town is then responsible for that tree and maintaining it, that's problematic. So right there I can say, that would have been an issue no matter what this business with the soil is about. I thank you for getting rid of the stump. That's something that we usually do as a town. In fact, in my report tonight, I spoke about how the Environment Department was basically making a list of all the trees that had stumps that had to come out, and we're doing that so that we can plant more in the spring. But listen, all I can say is I'll get back to you on what's the story there, but I can tell you now that probably that tree being planted in that spot is going to be problematic. So if there's any other place you can put it on your property, you know better, I'm sure, than I do, that you'll have another place on your property already dug, the soil is already in place, and you just plop it in somewhere else, because there's no way that they're going to let you keep Japanese maple in the public domain as a street tree.
I went a little further and took a walk around the town to see if there was other Japanese maples or other trees to that, and there is.
You know what? There's a lot of things that shouldn't be there.
Okay,
so I mean, people plant, all sorts of things in the public domain, but the fact that you dug up there was a tree there previously, it was a street tree. You're absolutely right that we should not be planting very tall trees under the wires. No question about that. It's just the Japanese maple is probably, it's pushing it for the height limit.
Well,
We probably would choose something like a medium-sized tree.
If it's trimmed properly, it will grow. It will grow. The one that I bought is not a dwarf. It's something that will
You
grow.
understand the precedent, though.
I totally understand.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if that's where we really want to put our
Well,
energy.
listen, I will. I'll make an inquiry and get back to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
appreciate
coming.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. D'Amico. Mr. Knowles?
Hi, everybody. Harold Knowles, 256 Percival. So we got a postal strike going on, and so I'm hearing on the radio that they're going to now re-emphasize this getting rid of home mail delivery. So my question is, if it does come to that, I don't know if it will, what's the process for where they decide these mailboxes go, and are they going to put them on busy streets with cars parked in front picking up their mail? Do we have any input to the placement of those boxes?
I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Knowles, because we don't have development, some of the towns will say on the West Island that have new development, they've had to deal with this already with Canada Post. And I think I've heard say that they'll ask cursorily, but at the end of the story, it's their decision where they end up putting these things. But we've never had that experience here in Montreal-West. Our homes are before a certain age, so they've been built already. We all have a grandfathered home delivery. So I don't know to what extent they're going to bully us, but you can be sure that whoever's sitting in this chair should be very sure that they're expressing their concerns that we have some say, and that these boxes aren't all along Westminster, so that people are crowding up there, A, stopping people just pulling over their car to say, I'm going to go get my mail, and B, somebody walking over there is in a dangerous situation.
I
So-
can't think, Montreal-West is so crowded, I can't imagine where you would actually put
Yeah,
them
that's,
without
it's
obstructing
absolutely
traffic in some really
absolutely
bad way.
fair
So,
question.
and so there's no input from us, they basically can decide.
I don't know that. Like I said,
Right.
we've never had to deal with it, so I can't say, yeah, you know, that's the what with our lived experience. I've heard say from some of my colleagues in the West Island that have new developments that it's not always great and that they very often are the ones who decide where they want to put their boxes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Knowles. Mr. Forlini?
Hi. So Franco Forlini and Julian, 61 Brock North. I guess it's fitting that I'm last. So just a big thank you to Councillors Torres, Yulin, and Feeney for all your years. So we could end on a nice note. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Forlini.
We were at the rink, that's why I'm a little messy, but
No problem.
gotta wear a lot of hats.
So I'm Cynthia Nichols, 25 Westminster South, and over the last 12 years, particularly, I have gone through nothing but a nightmare. These are demand letters. I'm delivering them directly to you. I was told by the CBC on the radio that you were not running again, so I was going to read the letter, but because you are running again, I decided that it would not be right to read a letter about abuse and negligence and et cetera, and this is for the town lawyer. So that's all. It's been 12 years of a nightmare. You haven't helped me at all. Every single council meeting I'm here, I'm asking about water breakage, damage. I'm dealing with 7 years almost of this condo development and cement trucks, and every Friday there's a nightmare in front of my house. No one has done anything. So I don't know what else to say at this point except I'm asking for some documents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any other questions from the floor? Okay, we're going to move to questions that were submitted online. First question comes from Pascal Bricot, 219 Brock Avenue North. When are you fixing the infrastructure and road on Brock North? Elizabeth, please.
Sure. Thanks for your message, your question, Pascal. I can't give you a date on that, I'm afraid. Brock North, in the 200 block where you're from, is not on an immediate list for reconstruction. I know it's in terrible shape, but it is not one of the roads that immediately qualifies for funding from the government, and so it would not be in the immediate future. All that to say, this is a council for whom it is our last meeting of this mandate, and so the decision on that will have to be taken by the new council. So I'll just have to leave it there. I just can't give you any information about anything in the immediate future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thank you for your question. Scott Miller, 65 Brock North. As this is the final meeting of this council and all but one member will not be running in the coming election, I'll make that two, I want to acknowledge your many years of service for our community. No question that our town is best served by people like yourselves who do their best to represent as many of its residents as they can. Our incoming councillors would do well to learn from your dedication. Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. And Mr. Miller, I just want to qualify that a bit. You and I haven't always been on the same page, so that you took the time to send that email, I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Linda Hammerschmidt, 226 Ballantyne North. While walking on Westminster the other day, I noticed bags of either garbage or recycling on the sidewalk in front of the various stores. The effect is an unsightly mess. Why can't the merchants use blue and brown bids like the rest of us do? Councillor Yulin, please.
So thanks very much for your question, Linda. You're absolutely right. In fact, we have a bylaw now that disallows using bags for garbage or for recycling, certainly recycling. And so I'm going to suggest, thank you for bringing it to our attention, but I'm going to suggest that when you see it next time, you give public security a call and you also send via our website a message that about what you've seen, because we need to we need to track this kind of infraction. And if we want it dealt with immediately, of course, the best way is to call. So if you could do both those things, it would be very much appreciated. Certainly the PSOs can be flagged to look for this on the streets, but you're not the only one to see this. I've seen it myself, and I know many members of the public have as well. So thank you for bringing it up here, and just please call public security when you see this again. Thanks for your question.
Thank you very much. Susan LG, 37 Brock North. What is planned for the intersection of Brock North and Sherbrooke? Currently, the sidewalk infrastructure supporting a crosswalk across Sherbrooke is in place, but the lines are not painted. Also, the westbound stop sign is not very visible through the branches. One worries that the crowd of students rushing to and from school, those solitary and slower users at other times, may even be more vulnerable. My husband and I urge timely action to prevent accidents. Councillor Small-Pennefather, please.
Thank you for your question, Ms. LG. I've noticed it as well. My husband has noticed it as well. Our neighbors have noticed it as well. I think we can all agree, though, that EXO has made a very positive investment in our community. I think it looks excellent what they've done to invest in increasing security and safety for pedestrians, not just for residents, but anybody transiting through the town, for the very many students who use that crosswalk. We have advised EXO of the issue, and we're hoping that we're able to get the painting done before the temperature changes, because as you know, certain temperatures, the paint won't adhere. So we're hoping to get that done, and possibly we may be able to put that on a list as well for the town, perhaps, to be able to do it. The sign, just to give you a great example of when the town can intervene if a recommendation is made that we feel is not secure for our residents. EXO wanted to remove the stop sign at Brock, and the town insisted that that stop sign be maintained. It was maintained, and as such, we will make sure to, if it's not visible, that we can do something about the visibility of that stop sign as well. And again, we are definitely on the marking of the hatching or crosswalk in the area. So thank you for raising that, Mrs. LG.
Thank you very much. Mark Deschenaux, 49 Ballantyne South. When will the paving sidewalk work be done at the Easton project? The seemingly permanent cones are still there, and it's taking forever to finish the work on the public domain. Do we have a best guess date for when for when the hockey teams will be able to start using the new arena? I wish I had clear answers for you, Mr. Deschenaux. I don't. The work across the street, for the last we heard, they've now paved the entrance to their garage. I think they have a catch basin that they have to include in the sidewalk, but we have no dates. They keep modifying their dates over and over and over again. I know that our urban department is in constant contact with him to try and get updates and try and get timelines, but those timelines are forever changing, so I apologize for that. Do we have a best guess for when the new center will be open? No, we don't. My guess is, at last estimate, we're talking the end of the year, the beginning of the new year. So without any other unpleasant surprises, that's what we're looking for so far. Thank you for your question. Kelly Swain, 150 Percival. As we are now new to the community on only 3.5 years, we have questioned the benefits of being separate from Montreal. It seems to be only negative impacts from what we've seen. State of the roads, having to beg for financial assistance to get the sports complex done, resulted in Montreal-West being the most taxed suburb, etc. We would love to hear what benefits were and if they still apply to today's markets. Colleen, do you want to start, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your question, Kelly. Thank you for the opportunity to address this question, because you're a new resident and don't have some of the history that some of us have, and also particularly for me, because it was actually fighting for demerger in 2002 that got me involved in municipal politics, and so it's rather fitting that I'm tying up my last meeting by discussing this. So I welcome the opportunity to look at some of the benefits of it, and welcome anybody who wants to speak to me about it later, actually, as well. So I've come full circle. First of all, for those of you who weren't here, Montreal-West is too small a community to be considered a borough. So even when we were merged for those 4 years, we were part of Côte Saint-Luc and Hampstead. And so the decision to demerge was not to stay part of them, it was to become part of the City of Montreal. And so since Côte St. Luc and Hampstead are independent municipalities, if we were to merge again, we would find ourselves part of, I guess, either NDG Côte-des-Neiges or LaSalle-Lachine, our two neighboring municipalities, which are two of the largest boroughs in the city. As a matter of fact, NDG Côte-des-Neiges is one of the largest as well. So I can tell you, even when we were part of the borough, Côte St. Luc Hampstead, we did not elect one person to their council. We tried, but they didn't get elected because we only have 5,000 people here. I guess maybe a few thousand who vote. So we never had anybody elected. And I can imagine that if we were part of NDG Côte-des-Neiges or Lachine LaSalle, the situation would be even worse, and that we'd have a hard time getting anyone elected to council. So number one benefit, I would say, to being our own municipality is you have representation. You have us, you have it here. You can come to the meetings, you can ask the questions. You don't have to do like you do in the other meetings where you put your name in a hat. You don't even know if your question is going to get asked. You can walk along the street and you can see Benny, you can see me, and you do see me, and ask questions and get answers. And so that is one of their very big benefits. We are accountable, we're here, we're answering you up front every single meeting, and in emails and in phone calls. And I think that's service that you would absolutely lose if you were part of a great big huge borough. So that would be my number one benefit. My number two benefit is it is a small community where everybody knows each other. And why? Why? Because we have only a small number of people going to the same activities, the same sports complex, the same activities at town hall, coming to town hall to pay your bills, or or to discuss things with the people here. When we were even part of Côte St. Luc Hampstead, our town hall here was closed. Basically, it was run out of somewhere else. It was a little bit of a service center here for our administrative services, but that was it. So you have your proximity of your services right here, and it's part of your town. When we did a SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, we did a big SWOT analysis when we undertook our strategic financial plan. And every single time, this was with residents, with the administration, with council, with the staff actually, and every single time when it came up, what are our strengths? Our strength was the size of our community. We're a small community. So you know people, you can do things, you can get involved. And that is that when people move into Montreal-West, sometimes it's because of our beautiful buildings, but I think really it's mostly because of the community spirit that everybody talks about, that's the envy of so many, many other municipalities. Once you lump us into a big place, I think that's going to be gone in a little while too. So that's number two benefit. Number three benefit, we have direct control of the services being offered. Our snow removal. We decide how much money do we want to put into that. Is that a priority? Yes, it is. Our recreational facilities. We had a situation recently where I had a seniors consultation, and the seniors in the room said, hey, we want some more fun activities. Can you do something like dancing, line dancing? Boom, we moved on it. We caught some teachers' names, and our recreation department is so flexible. They say, yeah, we'll try that. We'll see if it works. I doubt if that would be the same if you were part of a large borough, because in fact, as far as I understand from our recreation department, they don't even have a lot of their own staff. They contract out their recreation services to others. So we can provide services streamlined to our residents, and I think that's huge. So that's benefit number three. That's three. And the four, the proximity of our services. We don't have to start driving all over to get to this particular arena to do any of our programs, et cetera, et cetera. They're close by, people walk, and again, as we bump into each other and we see each other. And number five, we are a bilingual town, and we have the ability to communicate with our residents and with our staff in both languages. I think that's also big. I could go on and on. This is my really favorite topic. I really love this. But I will answer your other questions. There are certain things you bring up. Would our taxes be lower? Yes, they probably would be. They probably would be. Would our streets be done anymore? They might be. That's probable. They might be, but you never know. They're big boroughs, so they have other priorities too. So that's a possibility. But I don't know. My community is more than a few tax dollars, and whether, of course, I'd like our streets done, and we're trying to work hard on them, and I know that's one of our deficiencies. We got to do more of that. But I'm with the other 83% of our residents who in 2004 voted to demerge because they wanted this kind of very special little town, which so many other towns envy. So pros and cons, to me, the benefits were there then, and yes, they're still there now. So thank you very much for your question. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Colleen.
Sorry, I'm so long.
She could have gone on
I
and
could
on.
have gone
I
on
know.
longer.
That was a setup.
No, it wasn't.
Who is Kelly?
Carol Foster, 112 Westminster. Since bylaws that aren't enforced tend to get ignored, perhaps it's time to just remove the bylaw prohibiting bikes on sidewalks. Councillor Small-Pennefather, please.
Thank you, Mayor Masella. Thank you, Carol, for your question. I know it's very frustrating, and we've had discussions about cohabitation between bikes and residents and pedestrians and vehicles, as particularly on Westminster. We are looking at trying to find solutions, but we cannot remove them. Those are actually provincially legislated. You can't have a bike on a sidewalk, but only enforceable by the SPVM. So we are trying to have some sensibilisation campaigns, awareness campaigns, so that people are aware. And I know it's hard if you're a cyclist and you're cycling. It's hard to kind of get off your bike and walk it on the sidewalk, but that's the appropriate thing to do, is to walk your bike on the sidewalk. And once you've gotten to an area where it's appropriate for you to have your bike on the road, then you can do that. But I know, again, it's a challenge on Westminster, and hopefully some of the changes that we're going to implement, and also our DG has had discussions also with the Velo, the City of Montreal is responsible for the bike path, so we're hoping that we come up with some solutions. They're not easy, that's for sure, and I mean, it's something that, the next council will definitely be engaged in discussing and continuing that discussion. It's important to continue to have that dialogue, but it's important to keep the bylaw in force. And I know it's frustrating because I myself see people, and I see little kids that are on their bikes as well, and I understand why. But if people just have the reflex to get off their bike and walk it on the sidewalk, that really helps with the cohabitation between pedestrians and cyclists. Thank you for your question, Carol.
Thank you very much. Jennifer Melnick, 140 Ballantyne South. Hello, Council. Just like to quickly take the opportunity to say thank you for all the work you've done for the community, and good luck to those of you running again. My question is about the intersection of Avon-Westminster. I've heard it mentioned several times this is a temporary setup from the Turcotte renovation. What is the plan for this intersection, and when will it be done? Current traffic lights very low, especially on Avon-Bryn Mawr. Difficult for drivers to see and low enough to hit your head. I find it's a dangerous corridor and could use modernization. Councillor Small-Pennefather, please.
Thanks for your question, Jennifer. You're absolutely correct. We inherited those lights during Turcotte. Those were never meant to be permanent. We still have some infrastructure work underground that's going on. So once that infrastructure work is completed, we'll be able to have a more modern set of lights that are implemented in that section, so that it affects where you are. So Ballantyne, Brock, Avon. So we will have, hopefully in the next little while, once that work is complete underground, that we'll be able to put in and install those new lights, which will be modern lights, which will be a much better sequencing as well with vehicles on Westminster. So thanks for your question, Jennifer.
Thank you very much. Jane Patterson, 142 Broughton. Is the park named in honor of Edgar and George Davies going to be renamed? Councillor Feeney?
Yes. Thank you very much for your question, Jane. Yes, you will hear. There will be a resolution made later in this meeting to rename the Davies Park the Paula Cordeau Park in honor of her 39 years of service with this community, and also the fact that so many of the programs that we now have at Davies Park are ones that she herself was responsible for setting up. So that's the answer to your question. Yes, it will be renamed. Thank you for your question.
Thank you very much. James Mullally, 112 Broughton. What is the status of the claims for the flooding damage to the houses that occurred in the southwest area on July 13th, 2023? Mr. Mullally, we don't have the unupdated information. We can follow up with the City of Montreal because a lot of those claims are directed there. We can follow up with them to see what their status is and try and get some information back to us. Thank you very much. Paul Kenton, 70 Brock North. There appear to be only 2 remaining sources of grants for infrastructure. Tech grants running from 2024 to 28 and Primo grants available 2023 to 2033. The town is now likely using one of these for Courtney Drive in 2026. How many different projects can we get funding for from a single source in a single grant period? For example, might we obtain 2 or more grants from Primo until 2033? Have we ever been awarded more than one in a single period? Councillor Feeney, please.
Okay, yes, thank you very much for your question, Paul. There are a couple of other grants that we could be applying for. They don't come automatically. They have to apply for them. And also each one of them usually ends up with having an amount of money that council has to match at least for those grants. But there are others, and we're always looking into them. There's the Primo, like you said. There's the the PGDEP, which is the Programme de Gestion Durable des Eaux de Pluie. There's another one, which is the PRACIM, Programme d'Amélioration de la Construction d'Infrastructures Municipales, which runs from 2025 to 2028. And there's Aide Financière ISO 5001 pour les bâtiments commerciaux et institutionnels. And then there's the funds like the FCM, which we already did get grants for them as well. I suppose it's theoretically possible to get 2 from one source in a same year. That would be highly unusual. And no, it has never happened to us. But we are always on the lookout for various other grants. And the other thing that is the restriction is we have to know that we're able to handle and manage all those things. We have a certain number of resources, whether they're financial or human. Those are the 2 ones that basically impact that. And whenever you have a project, you've got people on our side that are also managing that, writing the grants, going back and forth with the construction people, etc. And we have a small town, so you can't have things on top of each other. So theoretically, we could be looking at more, and we do look at these all the time, and I constantly send things even to the recreation department, and we've tried for a couple and haven't been successful. But you have to look at the grants, and then you also see how you can manage them with the resources you have. So thank you very much for your question.
Thank you very much. Marissa Cesari, 416 Hudson. I want to thank Lauren for looking into the public security questions I have on parking bylaw. Also looking forward to receiving solution on city tree issues from Liz. My question is, who's responsible to ensure private lawns and trees are properly maintained? My neighbor has overgrown grass and tall shrubs that extend onto the sidewalk. Same neighbor has garbage, recycling on the lawn inside of their fence that hasn't been removed since 3 weeks, and rats have been seen stemming from that lawn. Thank you. Councillor Small-Pennefather, please.
Thank you, Mayor Masala. Actually, this is a great question, Marissa. This is now recorded as an official complaint, and we do have bylaws that the public security can enforce, and they will, of course, now that we received an official complaint, can enforce. So I'd like to use this as a segue into social media a little bit. So a lot of times people put complaints up on Facebook. If we don't get them officially as a councillor, we don't always see the complaints. Sometimes I can mine through comments, but when you have 50 people commenting, they get lost. You don't know who's making a complaint. The best thing you can do is send an email to the councillor who's responsible for your portfolio. If you're not sure who's responsible for your portfolio, you can call the city town hall office. They can let you know who your councillor is, and you can also send an email to the service that's responsible. For this case, it's public security. So public security would get the email and then be able to act accordingly. This really helps us officialize when we get complaints, and it helps me as a councillor to better understand, and I don't always see the comments that are made on Facebook. So if you do have something that you wish to raise, by all means, of course, social media is a great way to share it, but the councillors don't always see it. So please make sure to email your councillor as well so that they're aware of the complaint. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sylvia Gervais, 222 Westminster North. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors, for your hard work. Why was our fire department second responders to the fire on St. Jacques? Any truth on the Montreal-West Fire Department being on slowdown? Sylvia, unfortunately, we kind of take possession of the fire department because they're using our property, but the reality is the fire department on Westminster is part of the SIM, the Service Incendie de Montréal, and they're the ones who decide which stations are called in for a fire, and we're close by, so it makes sense that we should have been called in there as well. It was, I think, a 4-alarm fire, so there were multiple stations from across the city. I know that we were there. I think the station out of Côte St. Luc was there. There's a station down in Ville St. Pierre. They were all there. So it's really, we have no say in that. That's all managed by the SIM. And same thing for the being on slowdown. I haven't heard anything, Sylvia. I've heard some rumors saying that there was some work to rule and things like that. And I know at the last AGLO meeting, there were a lot of people questioning some mechanics that were being redistributed. I don't know. I have not heard anything in particular about the fire department being on slowdown. So I wish I had more information than that. I don't. Thank you. Robert Barnes, 227 Bedbrook. Your June 30th notice announced that Bedbrook road work was July 7th to 18th. Short notice for contractors' advanced schedule before the construction holiday. Mid-August was supposed to be for sidewalk construction with final road paving end of August, early September. Today is August 60th. Nothing done except making Bedbrook an unnecessary mess all summer. Your September 25th notice announced road paving now tentatively scheduled for October 6th to 9th, and any mention of sidewalk work has disappeared. Does the council believe this is an acceptable information sharing with respect for nearby affected residents, and on what basis should we believe the information this time? Dr. Barnes, the information is shared with us by the contractor, and that's what we put out in the notice. The sidewalk work is the one that's going to get done first. That has to be there so that they can level the road and know what level they need to put it on. The dates that we were given are the dates that were included in the notice. Is that going to change? Well, the timelines have changed 100 times across the street here, so I'm hoping that's what it is, because I was down that street the other day and I questioned the same thing. But sidewalks will get done. The sidewalks will get done first. The base coat will get done, and then they'll have to shut it down again to put the final coat down. So these are the dates that we have. You have as much information as we do right now. Thank you very much for your question. All right, we're going to get back to the regular agenda now, please. All right, contracts and town clerk's office, ordered to sell immovables for non-payment of taxes. This is something that kind of happens every year. We have to file these notices for people that don't finish paying their taxes. Until now, we haven't had to actually sell any properties. So when this notice comes out, usually people find a way to make the arrangements to get their taxes paid. So, Colleen, if I could have somebody move to the order. I think it's Councillor Feeney. Excuse me, Councillor Yulin.
Yeah,
sorry.
fine. So, whereas Section 484 of the Cities and Towns Act, CQLR, Chapter C19, provides that arrears of municipal taxes shall be prescribed by 3 years. Whereas the Treasury Department drew up, in accordance with Section 511 of the Act, a statement showing 3 immovables on which taxes assessed for 2023, 2024, and 2024 have not been paid as of September 22nd, 2025. Whereas in July and August 2025, the Treasury Department sent notices to the owners of these immovables on which the taxes are still unpaid for 2023 and 2024 to inform them that their property could be sold for non-payment of taxes in accordance with the law. Whereas Section 512 of the Cities and Towns Act provides that the Council, having taken cognizance of the statement filed by the Treasurer, may order the Town Clerk to sell such immovables at a public auction. Therefore, I move that council order the town clerk to sell at public auction the immovable mentioned on the attached list for non-payment of taxes on November 12th, 2025, at 2 p.m. in the music room at the town hall located at 50 Westminster Avenue South, Montreal-West. And secondly, that the town clerk be authorized to undertake the proceedings required to give effect to this resolution. And third, that the treasurer be authorized to bid on behalf of the town for the amount of arrears in real estate taxes plus interests and costs.
Thank you very much. Councillor Yulin, can I have a seconder, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I second that.
Thank you very much. Councillor Feeney, all in favor, please?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Renaming of Davies Park as Paula Cordeau Park.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Director of Recreation and Culture, Ms. Paula Cordeau, has retired after nearly 40 years of dedicated services. Whereas Ms. Cordeau, throughout her remarkable career, wore many hats and was instrumental in building the Recreation Department from the ground up, helping shape it into the successful service it is today. Whereas the impact she had on this community goes far beyond her professional achievements, as she has left a lasting mark on the lives of countless residents. Whereas Davies Park was at the center of her career, her workplace at the community center was in it, and she taught fitness classes there and helped host many of the town's events within its grounds. Whereas renaming the park as a tribute to her invaluable contribution would mark a historic first, as this would be the first park in Montreal-West to be named after a woman. I therefore move that the Davies Park be renamed Paula Cordeau Park.
Thank you very much.
I second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Feeney. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, I second that happily. I second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Yulin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Naming of the town gardens as the Bruce Thick Gardens. Just before we move this resolution, we received a letter on council, I think it was on Friday, from a resident who actually highlighted this, that Bruce Thick, another longtime employee, I think Bruce Thick was with us for 43 years, was deserving of something being named after him. And I just want the resident to know, the resident is Trish Hine. I just want you to know, Trish, that this had actually come up in our discussions about 2 months ago. So maybe the timing may seem suspicious to you, but that's actually not the case. 2 months ago, we decided that we wanted to do, when we started thinking about this for Paula Cordeau, we thought at the same time about doing something for Bruce Thick. And actually, at the end of our last meeting, Councillor Yulin reminded me we have to get this done because this is our last meeting. So this was in the plans, but I appreciate it. It was a great suggestion you made, and it kind of like jived with what we were thinking as well. So if Councillor Yulin, if you want to move the motion, please.
Certainly, happily. Whereas Mr. Bruce Thick retired in 2023 after 43 years of service with the Public Works Department. Whereas Mr. Thick was born and raised in Montreal-West, was asked in 2005 to take over gardening, and in this capacity was asked in 2007 to work on a proposal to change from annuals to perennial gardening. Whereas the town wishes to acknowledge his legacy, therefore I move that the garden around Town Hall be named Bruce Thick Gardens.
Thank you very much. Councillor Yulin, the seconder, please.
I second the motion with pleasure.
Thank you very much. Councillor Small Pennefather, all in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Memorandum of Understanding with the Civic Recreation Association.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Civic Recreation Association of Montreal-West, CRA, is a non-profit organization which has been involved for several years in the delivery of sports programs, whereas it is deemed advisable to formalize this partnership within the scope of an agreement that was negotiated between the two parties, whereas such an agreement aims at establishing a clear framework between the town and the CRA, specifically to govern the CRA's use of the recreational and sports facilities managed by the town, including the Recreation Centre, the town sports fields, and the English Montreal School Board's institutional recreational and sports facilities to which the town has access by virtue of another agreement. Therefore, I move, first, that the town of Montreal-West accept the terms and conditions of a memorandum of understanding with the Civic Recreation Association of Montreal-West, and second, that the mayor, Mr. Benny Masala, be authorized to sign this memorandum of understanding on behalf of the town.
Thank you very much. Councillor Feeney, can I have a seconder, please?
I second that.
Thank you, Councillor Yulin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Just to be clear, folks, this is a memorandum of understanding with CRA, kind of formalizes our relationship, gives them a little bit of space in the new center, allows them to use some of the ice, what we call the normative clauses. Later on, we're going to be formalizing the new costs when somebody wants to rent the ice or whatever, the rooms in the new building. And then what's left to negotiate is what kind of a preferred rate the CRA will get with the town. So we've made the clauses that say how we're going to work together. In later, separately from that, we're doing our tariff bylaw, we're updating that. And then what's left to negotiate is the reduced rate that the CRA will get from the town. Approval of disbursements for the time frame between August 23rd and September 26th.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move that the list of accounts payable from August 23rd to September 26th, 2025, totaling $1,397,229.83, and payroll in the amount of $262,221.30 for period 35 to 39 be approved as and paid.
Thank you very much. Councillor Feeney, seconder, please.
I second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Small-Pennefather, all in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you. La délégation des pouvoirs pour le mois de septembre 2025.
Oui, je propose que soit approuvé le rapport de la directrice générale concernant l'exercice des pouvoirs délégués en vertu du règlement numéro 2005, trait d'union 002 pour le mois de septembre 2025.
Merci, la conseillère Torres. L'appui, s'il vous plaît.
Oui, je l'appuie.
Merci, la conseillère Yulin. Tout en faveur, s'il vous plaît.
Oui.
Oui.
Parfait. Merci. New tariff proposals for recreation.
I move that the revised tariffs be charged for ice rental at the Recreation Center and room rental at the Community Center, South Chalet and Town Hall, including taxes unless otherwise indicated, following the schedule included in appendix as an integral part of this resolution without prejudice to the other terms and conditions of tariff bylaw number 2007-005.
Thank you very much. Councillor Small-Pennefather, seconder, please.
I second that.
Thank you. Councillor Feeney, all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Amendment to Resolution 2025-0127-012, the outside emergency stairs. I don't know if you've noticed, but the emergency stairs that are, I don't even see them where they are in this room. Emergency stairs coming from upstairs, they were old and rickety, they've been replaced, and now we're just changing how we're paying for them, please.
Yeah. Whereas the Town Council on January 27, 2025 awarded a contract for the replacement work of emergency stairs at the Town Hall, therefore I move that Section 2 of the resolution quoted in title be amended by providing that this expenditure will be charged to the unallocated surplus budget code 55-991-00-000 instead of the working fund.
Thank you very much. Councillor Torres, can I have a seconder, please?
I second that.
Thank you very much. In other words, what we're saying, folks, is that instead of putting it into our working fund where we can pay it back over a period of time, we're taking it all from the unallocated surplus. Working fund anticipated reimbursement.
Did we vote for that?
Oh,
Okay.
no, sorry. All in favor. I'm sorry. I don't think we voted for that one. I apologize. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Colleen. Working fund anticipated reimbursement.
Right, so whereas it is deemed appropriate to reimburse certain expenditures that were charged to the working fund as of December 31st, 2025, therefore I move to authorize the anticipated reimbursement of the working fund of the balance left on the following financial commitments. For a dump body spreader, 2023 1102-003, $76,599.72. For a Ford Explorer Police Interceptor, 2024-0425-012, $75,564.75. For a Ford F-250, 2024-1028-011, $68,316.42. For a Ford F-150, 2024-1028-011, $52,075.90. For a Ford F-150 again, 2024-1028-011, $52,075.90.
Yep.
And a Ford Lightning Pro 2025 0224-1, excuse me, 011, $59,050.22. And to charge the total amount of $383, $682, oh my gosh.
Try again, Elizabeth.
Too many numbers. $383,682.91 to the operating surplus.
Thank you very much, Councillor Yulin. Can I have a seconder, please?
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Torres. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you very much. It's the same kind of thing, folks. We had put these expenses into our working fund thinking we would pay them off over a certain period of time. Now we've had the money that we're going to pay them off in advance with the operating monies coming from the operating surplus. F, capital expenditure, startup of the recreation center.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Treasury Department deems it advisable to finance various capital expenditures related to the initial operation of the Recreation Centre from the operation budget of the 2025 fiscal year. Therefore, I move that the following expenditures related to the Recreation Centre be charged to the operating budget of 2025. The first one is an estimated cost of $50,000 for Wi-Fi access points and signage printing and installation. Secondly, an estimated cost of $75,000 for office equipment, which includes desks and filing cabinets, tables, chairs, video conference system, printer, various furniture, commercial fridge, kitchen equipment, and a washer and a dryer.
Thank you very much, Councillor Feeney. Can I have a seconder, please?
I second it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Torres. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Site Planning Projects and Architectural Integration Program, SPAIP.
I move to acknowledge receipt of the minutes of a meeting held by the Planning Advisory Committee, PAC, on September 24th, 2025. To approve as presented under the SPAIP, the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 230 Wolseley North, construction of a garden shed in the backyard. 59 Ainsley, construction of a garden shed in the backyard. 132 Brook North, replacement of the garage door. To approve with conditions under the SPAIP, the following plans submitted to this meeting in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 41 Fenwick, replacement of 6 windows. 34 Brook North, replacement of 4 windows. 247 Valentine North, replacement of the garage door. 251 Percival, reconstruction of the porch, front stairs, and railings. To defer the examination of the following plans to the next meeting of this council in accordance with the recommendations of the PAC as outlined in the minutes. 8101 Montreal, Toronto, demolition of the existing building and construction of a new building and installation of commercial signs. 49 Ronald, conversion of the garage into basement apartment, replacement of 3 windows on the main facade because of splitting 2-bedroom apartment into 3-bedroom apartments.
Thank you very much. Councillor Torres, can I have a seconder, please?
I second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Small-Pennefather, all in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Minor exemption request 11 Rennie. Councillor Torres, if you could just give us a quick précis, please.
Yes, the owner of 11 Rennie has requested a minor exception because for sale purpose. Basically, they are normalizing the gallery in front of the house, and I think the other thing is an accessory construction from the main building. So it's basically normalizing for sale purposes. It's important to note that it has been publicized in the newspapers and we didn't receive any notices.
So if you could move the motion as well, please, Councillor Torres.
Yes, therefore, I move that the plans and requests submitted to the August 2025 meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee be approved in accordance with bylaws 2020-002 and G-18-00005 for the following minor exemption from paragraph 6 of section 4.1.10 of the zoning bylaw regarding the movable located at 11 Rennie in zone RB-6. 2. Normalize a gallery located 3.3 meters from the property line, while such accessory constructions are forbidden within the front setback of the main building, the consequence being to reduce this requirement by 1.27 meters. And to normalize stairs that are located 2 meters from the property line, while such accessory constructions are forbidden within the front setback of the main building, the consequence being to reduce this requirement by 2.57 meters.
Thank you very much, Councillor Torres. Can I have a seconder, please?
I second the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pine-Father. All in favor, please.
Aye.
Thank you. Payment of compensation for a parking space, 49 Ronald.
I accept the request presented by the owner of the movable quoted in title in order to compensate for 6 missing parking spaces for a conversion project of a garage into an apartment, which will bring the number of dwellings from 7 to 8, subject to the payment of total sum of $30,000 in accordance with Section 5.1.5 of zoning bylaw number 2020-002.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pine-Father. Can I have a seconder, please?
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Torres. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. L'inventaire des immeubles patrimoniaux construits avant 1940.
Oui, Monsieur le maire. Attendu que la loi modifiant la loi sur la patrimoine culturelle et d'autres dispositions législatives prévoit que les agglomérations de MRC du Québec doivent adopter un inventaire des immeubles patrimoniaux construits avant 1940 sur le territoire. Attendu qu'en vertu de la loi sur l'exercice de certaines compétences municipales dans certaines agglomérations, la Ville de Montréal, à titre de municipalité centrale, a la responsabilité de coordonner l'inventaire pour tout le territoire de l'agglomération de Montréal et de le soumettre au conseil d'agglomération pour adoption. Attendu que la Ville de Montréal-Ouest a collaboré avec la division de patrimoine de la Ville de Montréal à la réalisation de l'inventaire des immeubles qui ont été construits avant 1940 de son territoire. En conséquence, je propose que le conseil municipal approuve la liste d'inventaire des immeubles construits avant 1940 sur son territoire et recommande son adoption au conseil d'agglomération.
Merci, la conseillère Fini. Je peux avoir l'appui, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, je l'appuie.
Tout en faveur, s'il vous plaît. Merci,
Oui.
Councillor Torres.
Oui.
Tout en
Oui.
faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Just so people know, the provincial government has asked all the towns, basically all the MRCs, all the agglomerations, to do an inventory of all the homes on their land that were built before 1940. I think their goal here is to have a running list, so when it comes time for redevelopment, for demolition or something like that, there may come into play there. It's not talking about it coming into play anywhere else right now, so it's just thinking ahead for when it comes time to demolishing some of these older buildings. Amendment to Resolution 2025-0911-003.
I move to amend paragraph 3 of the resolution quoted in title by removing the words, quote, and 17 windows, end quote, from the project description for 43 Curzon.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pine-Father. A seconder, please.
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Torres. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Conferences for the managers for 2026.
I move that managers be authorized to attend the following professional development activities subject to approval by their supervisor and confirmation of budget availability. Communications Officer, Association des communicateurs municipaux du Québec, Montréal, 6 mai au 8 mai. Town Clerk, Coopération des officiers municipaux agréés de Québec, Trois-Rivières, 20 mai au 22 mai. Director General, Association canadienne des administrateurs municipaux, Whistler, May 25 to May 27. Association des directeurs municipaux du Québec, Saint-Hyacinthe, June 10th to June 12th.
Thank you very much, Councillor Small-Pine-Father. Can I have a seconder, please?
I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Torres. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. A statement of comparative financial results was tabled with the council. The financial results are as of August 31st, 2025. We're moving to second question period. If you have a question about anything that was on the agenda, you're more than welcome to ask it now.
Joanna Dewey, 232 Percival. I just have a question about the 10C, the new tariff proposals. Was that a bylaw? No.
It's our tariff bylaw. So 10C, when we, every year we update our tariff bylaw, so we make adjustments in there. So it's not a new bylaw, it's a tariff bylaw we've had since demerger, really.
Okay.
And every year we update it.
Okay. Is it online somewhere?
Yeah. Always.
Okay,
Yeah.
including this version?
Yes.
Once
Okay.
it's passed, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bonsoir, Jonathan Chat, 49 rue Nelson.
Oui, monsieur.
Je reviens sur les deux désignations, les avis de motion que vous avez adoptés il y a quelques instants. Et mon commentaire ne concerne pas du tout les personnes concernées, puis leur contribution exceptionnelle à la société, mais il est hautement inhabituel de commémorer par la toponymie une personne encore vivante, là. Le gouvernement du Québec, le gouvernement du Canada, la Ville de Montréal ont adopté des stratégies, des cadres de référence en matière de commémoration dans les dernières années, où il est clairement indiqué qu'on ne change pas la toponymie avant au moins 1 an, voire même jusqu'à 25 ans après le décès d'une personne, là. Il y a une variété de possibilités de commémoration et de formes de reconnaissance, là, mais je soulève le point parce que c'est une pratique peu commune au Québec, au Canada et à l'international de changer la toponymie d'une personne encore vivante, là. Donc,
j'apprécie votre avis, Monsieur Cha. On n'est pas à la Ville de Montréal. Nous avons déjà consulté le Québec, la commission de toponymie, comme vous l'avez mentionné, mais on se réfère à les autres villes de fusionnées qui ont fait des mêmes types de choses. Ils ont renommé des parcs après des personnes vivantes sans attendre après leur décès. C'est comme ça que nous avons suivi.
Merci.
Merci.
Adding to that, still Cynthia Nichols. Adding to that, which park are you changing to Paula's name?
It's Davies Park, the one right behind
yes, I know.
at the community
There are
center.
two sections to that. There is the memorial, which is Davies Park as well, and then you have the recreational behind the community center. So are you changing the entire lot?
The whole side from Ainsley to Broughton.
So you are.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. And we've received one question online, and it's an update question, and it's from, I'm just going to read it again, please. And it's a question from William Eckhoff. Mr. Eckhoff lives over on Ballantyne North, north of the hump, and he asked if there was any update on the request for the fixing of the sidewalk in front of his home. Elizabeth, remember that's the one that need to be repaved?
That's right, yes. Well, thanks for your question. So we have looked into that, and we're looking at being able to do that for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your question.
Thank you very much. And if I could have somebody move to close the meeting, please.
Yes. I move to close this meeting.
And I second it.
Thank you very much.